We're gonna do a song that you never heard before.
The volume.
Hear the drummer get wicked. Here we go again.
Ace Kennedy, my brother from another mother.
What's going on?
Okay, I'm not used to seeing you on the left with me on the right. I do got a question for you though, bro.
Listen. I thought this was the right side. It don't. I think this is the
Hey,
right side.
listen,
Bro.
did you hear about the guy from that played for USC who recently was dismissed from the team? So apparently this cat, he's a 26-year-old hooper out there at USC, already old for a college player, by the way.
Right.
But he was kicked off of the team because they did some look into his birth certificate.
Mhm.
And come to find out that he falsified his birth certificate. Dominican cat. But they said that he's not 26 years old. In fact, this man is a 31-year-old father of 4. Ace Kennedy. Old head was out there packing them boys up because he was their leading scorer, though, bro. And what we doing about this, though, bro?
So for the college basketball or football?
For college basketball.
Oh nah, bro. I'm wondering what kind of like fines does the school get, and what does the school do to him? Like, do you press charges for falsifying documents? Like, there's so many questions.
Yes. So he is no longer and listen, here's what's funny. In his last game, I think that I don't know if there was like an injury to it,
Mhm.
but he walked out and I thought that you could tell the people that were commentating thought that he was going toward the back. He goes and sits in the crowd with his jersey on, like he knew it was over. He knew that this was it though, bro. But they say he is indeed 31 years. Listen, my thing is this though, bro. That would be do you think about it like this? You got him. I know that they were basically talking about with the transfer portal and with them allowing you to reset the clock that if you were a D2 player
Mhm.
and you were moving up to D1, that your D2 time didn't count against you. So almost like they were saying, well, if you were a D1, if you were a D2 senior, you still had eligibility left or whatever. But between all of the you transferring around because of red shirting, and you basically, if you get an injured list a year, some of these boys still had the old COVID year left, though, right?
Mhm.
You already now are 18 years old. You and I graduated when we were 17 years old, high school. So now you're 17 years old, not even quite 18-year old, and you are now battling with someone who is 31 years old. Now, it's one thing that you had to battle against a senior who may have been 21, possibly 22, right? But now you got to battle a 31-year-old for playing time, though, bro. I think that is crazy, though, bro.
Yeah, whole grown man out there.
A very grown man, 31. Listen, bro, 31, he done already been enjoying the discount on having cheaper car insurance at that point, though, bro. And at 31, you should be you should be mid-year career-wise in terms of just any professional job. In your point, you're not an entry-level employee no more. You are mid-level at that point where you should be getting ready to get into management, though, bro. I think that is just crazy though, man.
I wonder if he was knocking down any 18-year-olds though.
Well, that's a good question. That is a good question. But he has 4 kids though, man, and he's on a college campus though, right?
Right, but
So
is he married with 4 kids, or do he just have 4 kids?
I think that he just got 4 kids though.
Okay.
And listen, he played, and listen, he was a transfer to them. So that means that previously he played, I believe, at Auburn, right?
Mhm.
And so if that's indeed the case, and he didn't hit everybody with the okey doke before because he had to have already had these falsified birth certificates well before though, right? And so now everybody's like, well, wait a minute now. What does this look like in terms of where he previously played? Because I think that he may have played for two different teams prior to him going there. He came there as like a fifth or sixth year student, though, bro. So he's already, let's say, even if you say he's been in college basketball for probably about 5 or 6 years, which is already a long term. But to say that you really came in when you were 25, 26 years old, though, bro, wow. Yeah.
Yeah. That's wild stuff, bro. I like I said, I wonder what legal stuff gonna happen behind it.
Let's get that music on, though, bro.
It doesn't matter what your name is.
Slash Brothers Podcast, the greatest podcast of all time. The Slash Brothers Podcast, the greatest podcast.
If you smell what the rock. It doesn't matter what your name is.
Yep. Hey, listen, if you haven't already, be sure to like and subscribe to the Slash Brothers YouTube, Facebook, and the new Biatch. We are live on all three platforms at the same time. Whenever you click on the notification, you click on the bell, you get the heads up whenever your boys and is doing a thing. Ace Kennedy.
Yo, so speaking of The Rock, bro, I finally watched The Smashing Machine. Did you get a chance to see it?
I have not. And let me tell you. This is going to be a very stupid reason why.
Oh, God. I can't wait to hear this.
I hate the way the Rock's face look at this, though, bro. I can't even watch it, though, bro. He does it's weird. I can't get over how the Rock looks enough to watch it, though, bro.
See, I think that's the appeal because you don't see the Rock. And so you ain't one for spoilers. And obviously it sounded like you ain't gonna watch it. At the end of it, they show the real guy looks just like the Rock. I mean, he looks just like
just like the Rock.
Like
and I'm such a casual UFC fighter and an MMA fighter that I don't really even know who the story. So I know that it's supposed to be based off of real. So yeah.
I'm the same way. But the story is good enough that you would, I think, enjoy it because you're getting to see the Rock disappear. The only reason you know it's the Rock, like it's almost gonna feel like AI, right? Because it's like the Rock's body, no Diddy, but at the same time.
God, no way. No way. No way.
You know what the Rock's body looks like because of all the stuff that he posts. So to see him, obviously no tattoos, but then to see, it's not even just the face, it's the way he's talking. He does a phenomenal job. Like I understand all the accolades, all the reasons why the chemistry between him and the girl that's playing his wife, like I think was it Emily Blunt, I want to say. Either way, the movie is good. Like the movie's good. I hate that it didn't do well. I can understand maybe why it wasn't such a box office attraction. Because if you're not, like you said, if you're not a UFC fan, they just did it on the strength of the Rock's in it, right? But I, to me, think it would have did so much better on a streaming service as a streaming movie. Like it should have been either a Netflix movie or an Amazon Prime movie because it was very good. Like it was very good. Go ahead.
This was out in theaters then at some point.
It was out in theaters and it did not do well. It did not do well at all. And like I said, it's one of his best performances because he's not like this isn't an action, like he's not a superhero. He's a UFC fighter, and it's not a wrestling. You know what I'm saying? But to
Yeah.
see just to see, because like I said, I don't know this guy, but when they started showing pictures of him at the end, or when they actually showed him, oh my gosh, bro. The transformation was incredible. They did such a great
Wow.
job. It's on
Wow,
HBO
wow,
Max.
wow.
No, I was just like, yo, The Rock killed it, bro. I'm like, man,
Man.
that's really, really good.
No, I sure enough didn't though, man. Didn't watch it. Speaking of stuff that didn't watch, I wanted to ask you though, man. Did you ever start watching the Game of Thrones prequel? Dang.
Can't, man. Listen, the thing is that we have too many open shows. And the thing
Same.
is that so because we got so many open shows, we're smashing through stuff, and it's on the watch list. And it's gonna happen. It's not like we just got too many good shows. We're watching 2 shows right now. We watching Bridgerton and we watching The Pit. So we watching 3 shows and we watching Shrinking. So yeah, that's on the, because we still got Lincoln Lawyer that we got to get on,
Yeah.
and we got to
Yeah.
get on Game of Thrones. So she already said, like, nope, we're not starting any more new shows. We need to get through these ones. So we got these 3 to get through. And so yeah, once we get through them, then we'll pick it up. I know everybody keeps talking to me, but that's only like 5 episodes.
It's only 6. It's not, but I can't remember. It's not more than 8. It's definitely not more. It might just be 8. And I thought it was gonna be 10. And I'm gonna tell you the reason why, and I'm not gonna spoil it. I thought that given so you know how like every Game of Thrones has that one epic moment, right? Although season 1 started so let me ask this. On Game of Thrones 1, do you think the epic moment was when Ned Stark got his head chopped off?
Yep.
That was the one for season 1. Like Joffrey
Well, I
dying was
mean,
the
there's other things that happen and see that was episode 1. I mean,
that was episode 1.
yeah, that was episode 1. So there
What
was
was the
other
highlight of season 1, do you think?
bro. I don't. You know how much that stuff is running together. There's 8 seasons of Game of Thrones, bro.
Yeah, well, listen, but I'm saying, but there are certain
Yeah, like I
highlight
know,
moments.
but I'm saying I don't know.
Joffrey dying,
Joffrey
Jon
dying,
coming out the lake,
the
Jon
red,
killed the
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 red
red
wedding.
wedding.
But that's what I'm saying. I don't know what seasons those are.
That
though.
is making me listen. That is making me want to just stuff like that. Just talking about it makes me want to go back and start watching Game of Thrones all over again. Even though I'm like you. I'm mid season. I'm mid episodes with a mid season with a bunch of things. Well, there is while these is short, and some people seem to like it short. I think that it missed an opportunity for there to be a couple of more episodes afterwards that I thought would have built up that one moment and then take you into season 2. And some people like that was the high, and that the last episode is the transition, but like the epic, to me, it ain't like the epic cliffhanger that all the other seasons had though. So it's still, but when you see that moment I'm talking about, it's incredible. And I think that I'm so invested now that I've already been kind of like looking into some of the behind the scenes stuff that I typically don't look at. A lot of the a lot, not the spoilers, but like the different articles that you can find out there, man. I done went down a rabbit hole now to talk about what the book says about the two main characters travels and this, that, and the other though, man. And so it's like it's plenty of room now still, but I think that it would have provided more elaboration if there were 2 more episodes though, bro. But outside that, I'm not mad at it. I just wish that, it seemed like I just was getting into the groove of it, and then it's just boom, they out of there though, bro. So
Well,
yeah.
From what I understand, somebody told me that George R. Martin is actually heavily invested in this particular show. They said he had a falling out with the people that's doing the the dragon joint. So And so he's kind of like not on with them, but he is definitely invested in this particular show. So
I don't even know who that is.
George R. Martin is the creator of Game of Thrones. They still
Okay,
wait for him to
okay.
finish. They still wait for him to finish the last season of the real Game of Thrones, because season 7 and 8 wasn't based off the books. It was just the two brother oh my gosh, David Weiss and whatever they name are, the two dudes that did the Game of Thrones joint. They just went off the hip with the last 2 seasons. So like the whole Daenerys, becoming the Mad Queen or whatever, that's like not written anywhere.
Yeah. By the way, when I went back and I watched the last, I didn't. When I saw it the last season, the last time I watched, I didn't hate it like I thought I
No.
originally did.
I didn't either, because I think we talked about this, because I said, listen, Daenerys has always been like this. Anybody that didn't rock with her, she destroyed them. And so it's like for that whole time we were following her perspective. And then in season 7, mid to 8, we followed Jon Snow's perspective of her. And then we kind of almost had sympathy for Cersei now, because she did to them exactly what she did to anybody else. You know what I'm saying? When she got the what's them dudes' name? I can't think of the dudes' names. The like what Grey Worm and them. Unsullied. When they went and got them, she burnt up old boy. You know what I'm saying? Like the people that tried to steal her dragon egg, she locked them inside. Like everybody that went against her, she destroyed them. So she did the same thing, and she was wondering why Jon couldn't get on board with that. So it all made sense. It's just, it seemed like such a drastic turn the first time we watched it, but rewatching, like you said, it started.
Rewatching, I did. Yeah, the first time I saw it, I was like, "What the hell?" After watching it the second and third time over, and the more I watch it, the more I understand the perspective on it. So I'm not that mad, but now I'm saying, like, it's like I tell you, man, the one thing that I think is different for this show is that I'm talking about, like, every episode of Game of Thrones just had me on the edge of my seat to the very end, to the next one. And it had me, and so for episodic TV, it really had me on the edge of my seat. And I thought that even back when I was watching it real time and then being able to binge it, it still is the same way, where I can really sit there and be locked in for hours at a time, though, bro, and be like, it's good. It's good folding clothes show, man. But this one isn't necessarily like that. It may be because it's still in the very beginning and you're still seeing characters being developed and everything like that. But I think that this one is that pinnacle moment in it. It is very much on par with some of the others. And Dragons come back out in June, though, man. So I'm definitely looking forward to that as well. I might have to go back and refresh myself. And for me, I got to go back for the very first one all the way through. That's how I get caught up, though,
bro. Just watch the recap before this episode come on.
I got to see. I like the details, though, bro. And seeing that I've been watching the other Game of Thrones, and there are certain things that they reference in the Game of Thrones that happen on Dragons. That's the kind of stuff, like when Joffrey's talking about the dancing of the dragons and everything like that. I think that's the kind of stuff I think that's real fire, how they tie them all together. But this one is very interesting because I'm really watching to see how they tie all three together, right? I'm looking to see how they tie this one with any of the Game of Thrones stories, not just the characters, but the stories that were told. And so I don't know if you remember, but in Game of Thrones, they always referenced a rebellion that is going to be played out on this. And that's why I always wonder, how far out are we upstream as a prequel to where Game of Thrones come in at? Because when Game of Thrones come in, you hear them talking about the Mad King, right? And I wonder if within the timeline, if you're close enough to really show the reign of the Mad King. And I've seen some little things, little spoiler things that talk about that could be the case. So that's the kind of thing I'm curious to see, though.
Okay, I have two
It's
questions.
great. It's great.
Two questions. You can answer them either any order. Number one, what's a better series, Walking Dead or Game of Thrones? Or what is the best series that you like? What would you say is the best series? I ain't talking
Okay.
like over everything.
Okay. So I'm gonna tell you this. I'm gonna say, and it took me a lot. It took me a long time. I'm a die hard Walking Dead fan. I've watched the seasons as many times as I probably have watched Game of Thrones.
Which is why
Right?
I asked you that. Yeah.
Yes. With that being said, I think that Game of Thrones is better. And listen, I think that Game of Thrones to me is very much better. And the reason why I say that is because I think that Walking Dead has, because it's a few more seasons than Game of Thrones. But I think that why I think it's closer than what people think, or why they parallel, is because I think that you see the character development. I mean, some of these people have been on, Walking Dead for now 15 years at some point. So you're watching Daryl evolve, right? You're watching Michonne evolve, and it's like that with Game of Thrones. And I think that because you can watch like Carol, for example, be this timid girl, and now she is like an A1 predator, right? I think that that's why I think that I like it more than what people will say. But I think that there are some seasons of Walking Dead where it's dry, and then the next season it's more. But I think that on Game of Thrones, every season of Game of Thrones hit, and you can pick which ones you like better than others, but there are no dry spots to me in Game of Thrones.
Okay. So with that being said though, what's the best series you've ever seen?
Best series I've ever seen.
So
I'm probably gonna say Game of Thrones. I'm probably gonna go Game of Thrones. And the reason why is because it's the show outside of Walking Dead, it's the series that I've watched the most times, right? And so I can't, yeah, and because I've seen Walking Dead as much as I've seen them, I'm inclined to say because I enjoy Game of Thrones more. But listen, and when I say when I'm a diehard Walking Dead fan, I'm talking about all of the spinoffs, right? So I'm talking about the new from Carol and Daryl here recently to Fear the Walking Dead. All of them, I'm all in on the Walking Dead universe. Like they made the Walking Dead universe for someone like me. But even with that said, I think that a close second, actually, a very close second. It's probably Succession, bro.
Literally was gonna say Succession is very much up there.
It's up there. It's Succession. Listen, I'm not gonna lie to you, bro. Succession is some of the best TV I've ever watched. Like ever, 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 ever. Without someone getting a sword stabbed in them, without somebody's head getting cut. It's some of the best TV I've ever watched, though, man. Succession. It's up there, bro.
Yeah, Succession is up there. For me, Suits is up there. I think Game of Thrones is one. But like when I think like Suits, I can rewatch and rewatch, like almost like how people just throw on Friends. They can just, it doesn't even matter because it's just reruns at this point.
Right.
You know, and I can see somebody saying like Fresh Prince. I know a lot of black people will say Martin.
You're talking about any of anything,
any series.
Yeah. Okay,
any.
no. Yeah, if we're talking about if we're gonna say any series against, not like categorizing best comedies or whatever.
No, just what you think is the best series.
For me, I'm gonna be honest. I would put Martin up there, and I'm gonna be what I honestly believe as well. I think that it would have to be 10. I couldn't go with 5, but definitely Game of Thrones is number 1. Succession might be a close number 2, and I think Walking Dead just because I'm invested in there. But I would just say some shows, the regular TV shows that I would put in there as well. I probably would put Martin in there. I would put in Living Cover and Living Color, probably right up there with Martin. And then I would also say Living Single are ones that I would say those are 6 shows that I would put up there personally.
I got Suits in there. I got Fresh Prince of Bel Air. Like I said, Game of Thrones is one. Man, I remember. Oh, Scandal. Scandal is up there.
Scandal was tough. Oh my god! See, the only thing about
we just
Scandal,
rewatched Scandal. I
yes,
forgot how it ended, bro.
so you know that's the one thing I think that so I loved Scandal, and I think that the only reason why I wouldn't move it in my top 5 is that it did have some spots in there. Like I loved when Columbus Short was still in there, and that's when I thought that it was so good. But once Columbus Short fell out of there, though, bro, I was just like, all right, you know what? It was still good, but I just couldn't get with the inevitable. Like, when is it going to get to the finality and how you're going to get there? And I think that on that last season, to me, it felt like it was kind of rushed to get to the point. So I don't recall that, but it was so good, man.
I remember that watching it the first time, but the
Yeah.
rewatch, it was different because I didn't know when it was going to end. Like it's one of those things how you kind of block some stuff out, right?
Yeah.
When I rewatched it, it all fell in place because I remember the first time I watched it, I was like, why did Olivia become the villain? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But rewatching it, it flowed. So
Might have to rewatch that though, bro. I might have to.
It's on Netflix. It's on Netflix. And yeah, the rewatch was great, man. Especially because even Sarah was like, yo, I don't remember even going past like season 4. And so
I always love me some Kerry Washington, except for when she's doing the crying scenes. Like, I've never seen anybody so gorgeous do an ugly cry ever, though, bro. Uglier than hers, though, bro. She has one of the ugliest cries I think I've ever seen, bro.
Yeah. Yeah. Did you see that the boy Michael B. Jordan won the SAG award for best actor? Best male
Yes.
lead or for Sinners.
Yes, and you know one of the things one of the things that's interesting to me is that I didn't, and you know, I know you are very much behind the scenes kind of. You used to buy all the DVDs just to get all the. So one of the things that I'm enjoying seeing about that is a lot of the behind the scenes stuff about him playing the different people. I think that I am, you know, it's like one of those things though, bro. It's like I appreciated him winning the SAG, but I also was thinking like Oscars, like it's
Oscars
do
is
you
coming
think
up.
yeah. So my question for you is this though. Does him winning the SAG translate to Oscars? Because SAG is by the actors, right? So does it really, do you think it transfers that?
There's a guy that I watch. His name is Dan. Oh my God, what is Dan's last? Dan Murrell. Dan Murrell. He does an incredible job. He had the statistics of how it translates from the SAG Awards to then the Oscars on how it plays into it. Like he would say, like, oh yeah, in this particular award, this does lean heavy, where 17 of the last 25 people, it translated to if you won the SAG, you were going to win the Oscar. So he breaks it down really, really hard. And yeah, it does trend well. But there, in some situations, certain people that were nominated for the SAG Awards, and it's a different name now because they changed it to like the Actors something award, the Actors Award, but everybody knows it as the SAG Award. So anyway, he basically was saying that there's some nominations that will be different, but for the most part, it does trend well for if a person wins the SAG Award that they will win the Oscar. So it does bode well for Sinners going into Oscar season as far as like what all it could possibly, because this was like the first, because he's won before for ensemble with the Black Panther cast, but this is like his first solo award that he won. Pretty big deal, man. He was pretty choked up, and yeah, thought it was dope.
I think that this is my thing. I think that Okay, so this is the one question I do want to ask you then. With that being said, if he goes on, because as far as I'm aware, there's only you can count on maybe one hand how many black leading actors have won Oscars, right? I think only one that come to mind is Denzel's for actors. Actresses is still Halle Berry and Denzel are the two that I can think of, right? And
Wait. Say
those
that one more
two
again.
are
Say that one more again.
so the only leading actress that I can think of that won a actress that won an Oscar, black, was Halle Berry for Monster Ball.
Okay.
And the
What's
only
her
one
name?
I can think of that comes to mind is Denzel,
Jamie.
actors, right?
Jamie won.
Did Jamie win it for Ray?
Jamie won an
Okay.
Oscar. And
Okay,
but did,
so
did did Viola Davis win one?
I don't think so, bro. Because then what would she have won it for?
Woman King.
No, I don't think she won it for
Okay.
Woman
I'm
King.
just I'm just I'm
Eh,
just when you
Okay.
ask me, I'm just throwing it out there. But she has
Here's
won
my
a lot
here's
of
my here,
awards, but not Oscar probably.
here's my question for you.
Hmm.
So Denzel is black excellence, black legacy across multiple generations, right? He is like one of our ones, and so is
Yeah.
Halle Berry.
Yeah.
Listen, shout out to the rap review. They had a conversation about is Halle Berry the most mentioned name female in rap history. I was like, that might just be it though, right? But Halle Berry crosses like Halle Berry my whole life basically though, right? All of my early teenage life, and Halle Berry's been there. And she is black excellence personified acting wise. So my question is, do we see Michael B. Jordan as one of them ones that says, "Oh, this is our Leonardo. He is like our Brad Pitt. The same way we see Denzel. Is he like
He,
a not to
he's
say he's an equal? Do we see him as a black peer?
he is one of them. And you know who used to be in that discussion? Mike is Jonathan Majors. Jonathan Majors was well on his way of being in that category.
You think so?
Absolutely. His
I
name had
liked him a lot, but I
yes.
didn't know that he was.
You gotta
Yeah,
think, see, you gotta remember he did love and was it Love Country or Love and Country?
Lovecraft Country.
Lovecraft Country. He did what's the cowboy movie on Netflix with Regina King and all of them? They the with Idris
Harder they
Elba.
fall. Yeah, harder they fall.
Yep. Bro, I'm telling you, his name, the reason why Marvel went after him as Kang, that's because that he was the next one. Like that's that he was the guy. I'm telling you. He was starting to kill those roles. I mean, and you know it's funny because who doesn't really get that recognition like that is like Idris Elba.
Right. But listen, here's what I think is crazy too. I think Idris Elba is now getting older now, right? To where he's gonna start playing the older guy now, right? He's 50 now. But I'm saying that because I think that so this is what I'm saying. The reason why I think about that, because I do like Michael B. Jordan a lot. And Michael B. Jordan, the difference I think between him and Denzel is a lot of times when people saw Denzel, they saw him as a young Denzel, like Lady Sing the Blues, Denzel, the Civil War movie, Denzel, right? And it was all he was always Denzel, right, to the ladies. And I think that Michael B. Jordan, because we saw him as a child actor grow into this now, he's been in front of us for a number of years when he wasn't that. And I think Denzel always has been that for us because there wasn't very many of them. I do think that he is. I just think that I do look at him differently from a Denzel when I think of the all-time greats, because Denzel, to me, from the very start, I think we've always, as a black culture, looked at him as an all-time great. And is
I do
Michael B. Jordan an all-time great now? I don't know, but I see him trending that way. And I think that he's getting the recognition now because of when people say, oh, Denzel had to walk, so this person can crawl. When people say that analogy, if someone had to crawl, so this is what I think is the fruits of that to me.
I yes and no, because I mean, my thing is Michael B. Jordan has played some incredible roles. You know what I'm saying? Just Cause was it was him and Jamie Foxx. That movie was
But it wasn't like it's, I guess what I'm saying is this though. Like I remember seeing Michael B. Jordan from The Wire, right?
I
As
know
a
never saw The
teenager.
Wire.
Oh, yeah. So I remember seeing Michael B. Jordan on The Wire when he was like 14 years old. And then I saw him in Fruitvale Station as an older teenager, right? And so I understand what you're saying that he got to that point though, right? But I'm saying that I guess my thing is that I, as a fan of his, has saw the younger. It's almost like you watching. I compare it to Leonardo DiCaprio,
And
right?
that's who I would
Where
compare him to. Because
right. So
yes.
so
To me,
so this is my thing. Leo got his accolades early. His the way that people charade him as this incredible actor, it was like from the start. And I think that Michael B. Jordan is getting a lot of that now, right? Faster than a lot of, I think, other black young actors got.
Yeah, but I see. I look at their careers fairly the same to me, right? Because I feel like Leo's big movie was Titanic, right?
Right. But he was a teenager.
I get it. And so you already said Fruitvale Station was and other stuff. You saw some, but what I'm saying is I still feel like they're if you can compare apples to apples, he's the closest one to it. So I wouldn't put him in the Denzel category. I would put him in. I think Leo is a peer. Like I feel
get so I'm talking about. I get that. I'm talking about for us, for black people. Do we see him as an all-time great black actor? That's what I'm saying.
I do.
Okay.
I think that
I do as well.
Listen, a lot of people, a lot of mainstream people are gonna attribute that to Sinners. Whereas for me, the breakout movie for me is not even Black Panther, even though that was incredible. To me, it was Creed, because you are not only are you carrying a known property, you're taking over a known property, essentially. You know what I'm saying? Rocky was around for forever, and Rocky became like, he got an award. So Stallone didn't even want to be a part of the Creed stuff, right? Stallone got an award for Creed for supporting actor. And so that's because of how good Michael B. Jordan was Adonis Creed. So to me, that was the breakout one thing for me. And then starting to see like Just Cause and the joint that the John Clancy movie on Amazon with my girl as his wife. Like he started to prove that he can starting to carry movies. So to me, yes, he's ours like that. I think at one point Lakeith Stanfield was getting there, but he just
I like Lakeith Stanfield too, though, bro. But I think that he picks these different roles for projects that some of them are big, some of them are small, and I think that he is. I didn't think that he picked roles where I don't think that they're leading roles necessarily, but his impact of the movie goes without question, though, man. So yeah.
And unfortunately, I don't even know the dude's name that was in Get Out.
God, he's the African cat, the British African cat. Yeah, but here's my thing about it though, bro. I think that dude. Listen, there's one thing I could say about the dude from Get Out. I don't think that he's ever been in a movie that I didn't like. I've never seen him in a movie that I thought was whack.
Exactly.
Yeah, because when he was in Judas and the Messiah, I thought he was incredible though, bro. Absolutely incredible, man. It's one of the powerful movies. But I do think, but again, he to me is. I don't think that like he's a black actor. I'm talking about black Americans. Who we call our own.
I knew.
I just think that I just wonder if how we look at Michael B. Jordan and he's of our age, if that's how people looked at Denzel The
To me,
young 20-year-old Denzel.
I don't know. Like I said, I don't know that part. To me, when you said Leo, that's to me the comparison.
Yeah.
That's who I think he is to us. He's Leo to
Yeah.
us. And I'm cool with that because I think both of them have done very good things to get them to the point. Because that was kind of like the big nod when he was making his speech, when he accepted the award. It was like, yo, I'm looking at peers. You know what I'm saying? Like, and you guys have watched me grow up and behind the camera, you know, from behind the in front of the camera or whatever.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I do think, I don't know that he's Denzel yet, but I definitely think Leo.
I just think that he is. The reason why I say that is because there are very few black actors that we've watched as a child and see them keep ascending in Hollywood. We've seen a lot of them, and there's a lot of them that we've liked and we've followed as well. But I think that he's the only one that I know of that we've seen as a child that, you know, that acting wise, right?
Yeah.
That's just been ascending and still it's going and just man. And so that I thought about that because I did see his speech, and we talk about growing up in front of the camera. I just think that he is the equivalent to me of Leo, but Leo was getting the achievement and the accolades early on though, bro, because he got the roles early on though, man. And so
Okay,
I am curious to see what else he does though.
I got a question for you, but also got a statement though. The statement is who I think is doing an incredible job of not like is going in the direction of being an incredible actor, but not like following his dad's footsteps as John David Washington.
I thought you were going to say that, and I've always known just from off camera conversations. I know that that's always been one of your guys, though, man. I do like him as well.
I like him because I liked him. I loved him in Ballers. I never seen Black Klansman, which I do want to watch. But he was in Tenet, and he was in that one AI movie that
Yeah.
Really
with the kid with the little head missing in the back. Yeah. That was pretty dope too.
So and
he does some weird movies though.
He does, but I think that's on purpose though, so that he's not like follow. I mean, that's his. You know, there's still people that don't even know that that's his dad.
Yeah, which I think is cool because he carves out his own lane. I think that he did this movie, man, where he was it was a period specific movie where I believe he was like back in the 30s or 40s. He was part of a crew. I think that they were like, it was like, oh man, if I'm not mistaken, this is like World War I based movie. It was pretty cool though, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. He's dope, man. He's real dope.
Here's the question. Which movie had a bigger impact on Black culture? Black Panther 1 or Sinners?
Black Panther. Easily. And I'm going to tell you the reason why. Because to me, it's the first Black superhero movie that was pushed with the same effort to me as a white superhero movie. So for Black culture, I think that is a very important thing. So for me, I think that put this. I know people who went and got the Black Panther tattoo. I don't know nobody who getting the Sinners tattoo, although that would be fire now if you had some kind of theme tattoo of Sinners. But no, I think that Black Panther is, and I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm not gonna say it's not close, but it's an easy decision for me.
See, I don't know, man. The conversations I've been having, I saw a pretty similar impact from just the. I mean, you know, I talk a lot of movie stuff all the time, and I think both of them had such a cultural significance. But what did strike me though, you said like first Black movie to have the back end, and I'm thinking like, I don't know, Blade.
No. Wait. Here's the difference. Blade, don't get me wrong.
Blade
If you want to talk
started
about
the Marvel
importance,
Cinematic Universe.
right? So when you talk about the most important movie for super, maybe I can understand that from that. But when you talk about culturally impacting, bro, I saw for years people Wakanda and that thing. I listen. I'm just saying that I understand that. I'm just saying that to me, Black Panther, in terms of the impact, inspired Black culture. Right, it gave a sense of Black pride. It get into
Yes,
me.
but also, and while we talking about it, the same director directed Black Panther that directed
That's
Sinners.
very true.
Right. So
Now, here's the thing about it. I do think that to me, now, this is the one thing. What I love about Sinners is the factual pieces of it, right? So I do like that there are some very true to the period things that occur on in that window. I like that. This is where when people to me, like things that matter to me when I like period specific movies are like I like the casting, but not just the casting. I like the clothing. I like all of these little details. And that's what I got more out of Sinners because it was a period piece. And those are my cup of teas, though, man. But I still think though, man, with all things considered, in terms of impact on black culture, nah, it's Black Panther because it to me, because it was a superhero based movie, right? I think that it will cover more generations than Sinner because it's one for everybody.
yeah, but I think so. What I thought was dope is Sinners hit on a horror vibe along with in the movie. You still didn't know it was a horror movie.
I
Here's
didn't know that it was I didn't know it was a vampire movie until it was a vampire, bro.
but here's the other
Even
part.
though it was right in your face, right? Even though it
Yeah,
was right in your face, that, oh, can I come in? Like, even though the things that I know to be true about it, and I love vampire movies. I don't think there's one that I've seen. Vampire, zombies, I'm there. And even though I know those things to be true, it did click on me. Damn, this boy vampire out here early though, man.
but the other thing though, Ryan Coogler did something that was so game changing that he had the white directors mad about, right? Because he negotiated to own the rights after a certain amount of years. Like he bet on himself. You know what I'm saying? I don't know, man. I just think for one, Ryan Coogler is pushing the limits for black people, bro. That's ridiculous. Because I mean, Fruitvale Station you brought up, and obviously, you know, Creed, that whole series, because even the ones he didn't direct, he still executive produced. You know, he is doing, he's the guy, bro. What's up?
Let me tell you something that I don't know how much this matters to you, but the older I get, the more it matters to me. And this is gonna say I hate to be one of the people that brings race into things. And I know that he's a black director, he's a black movie producer and everything. That's not even it, because we've seen that before. What I like is that he black. He's
Yeah.
black. And
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
and when I know that, you know what I mean by black.
Yeah.
He ain't just black by skin color.
Uh-uh. He
I
he all the way.
yes.
And, and
You
he ain't
and
changing
listen,
no
we can
dialect on how he talks.
yes.
He
And when I say that, you know what I mean. And I like that about him though, bro. And I think that I like I said, we've seen there are other black directors, but like nah, when people say no, he one of us, like that's what I mean by
he's
that.
still rocking the cornrows. Like it's no coincidence why Kendrick Lamar is like for real who he go to. Nah, he that's what I mean by like for the culture. Ryan Coogler is that dude, bro. Like,
Yeah, I agree. I
yeah,
totally agree. I think that he his artwork, his shows, his things really put on for black culture though, bro. And I appreciate that though, man. But uh yeah, man. But I think that but I like that he's black. That's more. It's like yeah, there's sometimes like there are some people there are some black people that I see that could get they the first they do this or it's a movie produced by this person, a show produced by that person, and they black. But they ain't black like him, and I like that though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got about 10 minutes left, bro. So let's jump into it. So last week we kind of touched on the TI 50, and there's been some new revelations since then. TI was hitting him with the back-to-back songs. But then his sons have kind of been stepping off in it because you out here talking about they mama. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But a lot of the conversation, bro, has been about Damani and his song, Sorry Miss Jackson, or the Miss Jackson. What do you feel? And then 50 also later removed everything TI branded related from his Instagram. He blocked the comments, and he basically just said, listen, I entertain whether you like me or hate me. Like, I move the needle with conversation. I'm paraphrasing, and basically like, look, it's gonna be a slow news week because I'm about to, I got other stuff I need to focus on, so y'all got it. But where do you stand with the songs that came out? 50 kind of backing out of it, and where are we at with this whole thing?
Listen, man, for what it's worth, everything. This is where when we say both things can be true and all things can be true, right? So if that's 50's response, like you and I didn't expect that 50 would come back with some music, right? I don't think that he is even though he is a rapper, that's just not the space that I think that he is in, right? To be able to respond. So he is in that space where he is on that troll and on that entertainment, right? So he might respond in an entertainment way or whatever, though, right? And if he decided, all right, I'm out, y'all got it, cool. If that's how he wants to do it, I can respect that, though, right? It's more than what I've seen 50 ever do, right? I've never seen him, like, not to say that he back away from what he was saying, but I've never seen him pivot away from anything. He ain't gonna do the same thing for Ja Rule, right?
Yeah.
But I think that the one thing I started watching this interview, and shout out to the boy Mark for I had a good conversation about that. Mark knows everybody. He sent me this interview where T.I. was being interviewed on Ebro them and Rosenberg them podcast, and I think that the one thing that was interesting, he was like, no, I don't enjoy this, right? He was like, for one, he was like, I raised my kids to be, a certain way, but at the same time, I've been sitting here trying to pull King from the edge. And this was the one thing that finally, after everything that I've been trying to teach him to keep him away from, this was the one thing that basically, put him over the way. Nope, I'm jumping all the way out here. I'm out the window with it. And so I get that though, man. Like I said, I do appreciate though, to be honest with you, that I think that everybody's response and everybody's part was appropriate. It's like if 50 if they were talking about it with all the talking that T.I. was doing about 50, when 50 backed out of it, 50's gonna post his memes, he gonna do his trolling. He did that, and it was with Tiny. And then T.I. responded back as appropriate, because how your girl gonna look at you when you ain't responding back to him? And then not just that though, it's like, if you talk about my mama, then at that point there are no everything. There are no bounds. It's no lines around it. I'm gonna talk about your mama, and it don't matter if she is dead, if she's alive, if whatever happened to her. If you talk about my mama and you go low, I'm gonna go as low as I could possibly go. Everything
and
to me is in bounds.
Going low is 6 feet under.
Yes, and everything to me is within bounds. And so I think that listen, it came, it went. If that's the end of it, then all right, cool. I think 50 still has to live with that being another one of the L's that he got to walk around with, though, bro.
Yeah, but is this a bigger L than like a Drake L? I don't think so.
I don't think that it's the Drake kind of L. But I think that it is like it's a Rick Ross kind of L for 50. It's equivalent to that, and I think that it's almost equivalent to Fat Joe, right? Yeah, it's that kind of thing.
Yeah, but we only remember those when we bring them up. Like, it's not like when I see Drake, that just immediately I think of Not Like Us, right? And so
it's fresh. It's fresh.
It ain't fresh. It's 3 years old, 2 years old. So what I'm saying is this, though. What I'm saying, the reason why it's not gonna stick like that to me is because 50 never responded with music. right? The moment that 50 jumps out there, if he would have jumped out there with some music, then it's fair game because it's a level playing field to me. So I, to me, the news cycle just moves so fast that it's a blip, in my opinion.
I get it. I get it. Don't get me wrong. Here's where I think this is the reason why. I think 50 can survive this one the same way he survived the others. And when I say survive it, I mean that I think that he can go through this one relatively unscathed. And the only reason why is because while I think that he took the L, it wasn't like a catastrophic L because with all things considered, as much as I liked the TI response, it wasn't a they not like us. And for that matter, I don't think that it was quite equal to some of the other Kendrick songs as well, though, right? So I think that he can go. But I am going to always remember this L in the same way how I'm going to always remember the Rick Ross L. I'm going to remember the Fat Joe L. It's right there on par with them, but it's not any better or worse kind of L. It's an equal to those L's. And I don't think that this L was the Drake L. No.
But here's the thing. I think that Right One, if he would have hung on to that one a little bit longer, I don't think it would have been a Not Like Us, but I do think it was a big enough bop that he had them haymakers in that song. The problem was he came with that third song, and the third song was just you know what I'm saying? He didn't let Right One linger enough. If he would have let it linger video, enough. Because Not Like Us got legs because we gravitated to it, and that was the haymaker, right? And I feel like Right One was a haymaker. It wasn't Not Like Us, but it wasn't like he had enough punch and enough punchlines in it, like quotables that we could have lingered on to. Whereas I think if he would have reversed them, like if he would have put that one out first and then came with the Right One, I just think I think that would have been it. Because like you said, you felt like he had another one in the tuck.
I still believe he had a better one in the tuck that he was waiting. This would be the one that he would have put out if 50 would have responded musically. I still believe that. But I do think that, listen, with all things, like I said, with all things considered and with all things equal, though, bro, I think that he got out, and I don't think that it was as bad as it could have gotten. So it never got to where it was outside of music. I think that they kept it entertainment. 50 had his method of entertainment. T.I. had his method as well. But I'm still gonna always remember this one now. I'm the same way as a hip-hop head. I am gonna remember this and tuck this one back in the files the same way I have it tucked with Fat Joe and Rick Ross, and even the Jadakiss. Now it's not on the level of They Not Like Us and Drake, but it's still an L nonetheless.
Okay, we never talked about this off camera. What did you actually even think of the Damani song?
I thought that, put like this. This is the one thing I think that's crazy. I think the one thing that was very cool is that it was very on brand of all of the Harrisons, right? So I've only listened to maybe snippets of 2 or 3 songs by King, and his music was very much that, though, right? And T.I. was very much T.I. So the Damani to me was right on par with what I've heard. Like this is my thing that's crazy. I actually like Damani. I follow him, so I follow his music and everything like that, though, man. And so it was right on part, though, man. It was good. I like that. What I think here's the one thing I think I do appreciate about King and Damani, that they aren't trying to copy or be like T.I. Like when you think about Diddy's son, like it looks like he's trying to, like somebody said, oh, do these songs like your daddy and da 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 da. I think that no, Damani raps like how he raps. He seems to be he's very much on the conscious lyrical side of things. And I think that King does the YN raps, and it's on par with that. And so I do like that they all did their thing, and it was showing. Like shout out to the boy Chrissy on it, because I think that it definitely showcased all 3 of their individual styles, and they're unique to each person. Though
did Major do anything?
No, man. And this was funny. I think that Major to me seems like he is so like out of it that he's not on that at all though, bro. And I always laugh because like every once in a while something will pop up on my feed, like maybe once or twice a year where someone has a major update and where everybody, because I guess Tiny always says that everybody loves Major and everybody who I know loves Major from the shows on up. And now that he's in high school and everything like that, it's still the case though. But I don't think that he even does music. He doesn't seem like he raps at all. Like he's just like, I'm not gonna even do anything at all though, bro. Not music. It wouldn't surprise me if he just has a corporate job at some point though, man. He goes on to college and he's like a finance major or something. But he seems like he's far from being associated with being a hip hop act though, bro.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm glad it's over because I just didn't want it to get crazy. Because I mean, you got to think T.I. and 50 are still icons from our generation, and I do think it would have been a great battle if they would have did verses or whatever. But we talked about who we thought the competitors should be, or who would come close. So we talked about that last week. So
listen, and again, shout out to the homie Mark. Mark knows everybody called me and said, "Hey man, I just want to know if y'all are gonna be talking about the verses that did happen." He said, "I saw y'all talk about what would happen with T.I. and who would be it, but are y'all gonna talk about the verses that did happen?" I said, "Wait a minute, what verses are you talking about?"
right.
He said, "You mean to tell me you didn't see the verses between Mike Will Made It and Hit Boy?" I said, "No." I knew I saw Hit Boy post that they were going to do it, but I didn't see very much anything around it, no hype around it or whatever. And he said, "It seems like I'm the only one that's seen it." So he says, "Listen, you gotta go and watch it." And I said, "Listen, I'm not gonna talk about it until we
You watch it.
have." And listen, you gotta watch it by next week's
Yeah.
pod so we can talk about this because he said, "Listen, bro, listen, you want to talk about song selection?" He says song selection kills one of the people on here, though, bro.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
I'll watch it. I knew that they were going to do it. Like you said, just didn't have the advertisement of they actually did it. So no, I'm with it. Yeah. Well, look, man, let's get these people on out of here. What you got going for the week?
Yeah, so this week I'm back home. I was listen, we talking about 50. This is one thing that is funny. I was out there in Shreveport though, man. Had to visit my pops. And it's organically. City does show love to 50 Cent though, bro. So his investment in Shreveport is very much real though, man. That's according to some of my family members. Those are direct quotes. So I had to do some journalistic research on that, what I say. But I was there though, man. Had to tap in with my pops though, bro. And I think that this week I'm trying to get back into the swing of things, though, man. So I am hopefully getting back into the lab. I think that one of the things that I'm trying to do now that this weather is starting to warm up on out here, though, bro, I'm trying to figure out. I need to release another song here that's going to be some warm weather vibe songs early off. So I'm trying to go ahead and figure out what that is and narrow that thing all down so I can start planning some content around it. What you got going on?
Man, it's still the same from last week. When they came out Friday, they just kind of got measurements and started looking at. So now we're breaking down the room, getting stuff up out of here so they can start the rebuild. So I'm kind of in the same spot that I was last week. Unfortunately, had another leak this past Saturday, completely unrelated to the the hot water side. So I mean the hot water heater, the water tank, not related to that. This was a completely different location. So that was super defeating. So, bro, we just over here just not having the greatest start to the year. The only kind of positive, not the only, but I'm saying one of the positives, the girl Sarah turned 40. So she had her big 40 bash over the weekend. So I know she was super stoked and everybody turned up. Pictures is out. So we had pictures of everybody on the purple carpet and everything. So that was dope. But yeah, we kind of in the same boat. So yeah. That's about it for me. So just still waiting for them to come rebuild the room. Like I said, if I panned out, it would be pandemonium over here. So We just gonna leave it like that. But yeah, big shout out to the boy, the bad guy, the cockaroo himself, the boy Chris Top over there, chiming in on the show. We'll have him on eventually when his schedule clear up, because you know he's just always busy. So
man, it's touring.
Stopped in and checked out the boys. Appreciate him stopping through. He know he always got the invite to be on. But yo, we are the Slash Brothers from ATL to OKC. We will see y'all on the next one. And yeah, we appreciate y'all for rocking with us.
It doesn't matter what your name
The
is.
Slash Brothers Podcast, the greatest podcast of all time. The Slash Brothers Podcast, the greatest podcast.
Can you dig
of
it,
all time.
sucker?
Yep.